Hey, 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 welcome to Tiny Mic Micro News. I'm your host, Lindsay, and I'm passing the Tiny Mic again today. Today's topic affects all of us. It is everywhere and in nearly everyone. We're talking about fat phobia, internalized or externalized, because you can't have one without the other. My guest today is the amazing, intelligent, kind, talented human being I know as Mar. Mar is short for Marielle, and her message has echoed through me and inspired me to be the change that I want to see in my own life and in the world. So let's get right to it.
So fat phobia, which is something everyone, I can almost guarantee everyone in their life has dealt with whether or not they know that they've dealt with it. Fat phobia is being absolutely horrified of being fat, just plain and simple. Everyone believes that the key to success is thinness, that people are going to see you first and they're going to see that you're fat and they're going to think less of you. Like there's this whole stigma around being fat that makes you ugly, that makes you unintelligent, that makes you comical. If you think about growing up, the movies we watched, all of the fat people in them were made fun of. They were a joke. And that's what stemmed a lot of it, is that we were scared to be fat because we didn't want to be the joke. And that we have always felt like if we're fat, we're not going to be loved. And that is so far from true. That your biggest goal in life was to be thin because thin leads to success, which is not true. There's just this whole stigma around being fat that it's the worst thing that you could possibly be, that could possibly happen. People spend thousands of dollars to make sure that they're not fat. Fat phobia causes so many negative problems.
Yeah, it's very appearance focused. And you mentioned, not feeling loved. Like you don't want to be fat because nobody will like you, right? I was really fat when I was growing up. Like I got picked on pretty hard. I decided I didn't want to be picked on anymore. And so I did something about it, but I did it all the wrong ways.
Sure.
When did you kind of become aware that it's something people want to push away for themselves and for those around them?
Middle school. Everyone's favorite time of their life, when you become aware of who you're becoming and your body starts changing. And that's when I really started to notice. And what also developed with that, so when you grow up fat, you usually are also curvy before all of the other girls. So not only was I fat in middle school and I was targeted by students to be made fun of, I was also targeted by teachers because clothes were fitting me much differently than my I want to say coworkers, my fellow students. I got called out for all the time because my jeans were too tight, or even though Sally was wearing the same length skirt, I was the one that got in trouble for it because I filled it out more. I used to do all of these super fun, nerdy arts and crafts camps. And at one point I went to one and I was wearing a Mario shirt. I was making arts and crafts better than everyone else. And, now I'm a graphic designer. So makes sense. And one guy looked at the stuff I was doing and looked at me. He's like, well, you're just a fat nerd. And then he got up and walked away. And that has stuck with me for years. And I looked him in the face. I was like, what's wrong with you? And just moments like that are just firing. It's like people see you and that's the first thing that they want to say to you. If you're doing something better, if you look different, they're just like, well, you're fat. So that's the worst possible thing that could happen. So I started noticing it in middle school because of these things that were happening to me. And it just got worse in high school. And I think I didn't start embracing my fatness until college. So between middle school and probably about junior year of college, I hated myself. I hated how I looked. I hated how I felt. And it wasn't necessarily because of me internally. It was all external. the comments people made, the comments teachers made. And even now, there are some people in my life that are so hyper focused on weight loss and the way that they look. That
like I haven't learned how to embrace that maybe I'm not what society says we're supposed to be, right? Because we go to the movies and all of our, you know, female heroes or female leads in movies are these beautiful, picture perfect, like human beings, right? And so you don't have any representation. And I think that as human beings, we have this major desire to like want to fit in. And if you don't see what you look like anywhere, then what are you going to do? Right?
Exactly. That's been a big kind of awakening for me lately. Like watching movies with friends and Jessie and them talking about like, oh, I had a big crush on her growing up. And it affects me because it's, you know, it's never someone that looks like me. And it's like, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
because it's just like, you know, if everyone only loved thin, beautiful people their whole lives, like, what does that make me? Where do I stand in the world? And so I've been trying to find plus size icons that I really admire and that are gorgeous, and they handle themselves beautifully. The thing is, here we go, like it stems from colonialism that fatness is anti-Black. And we have all of these beautiful Black women that are starting to come out and they're like, I'm fat and that's beautiful. And like, you guys can go suck it. And they're right. And I have been led by all of these really strong Black women recently to embrace who I am. And that's something I'll never be able to repay. And then I've also been watching, there's a show called Shrill where the main character, do you love that show?
Love that show. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
There's the main character is fat. And within the first 20 seconds of the first episode, I was like, oh God, this is too close to home. Like just the way that she handles her morning and her afternoon, and like how she handles being fat and how that goes throughout her day. And the way, you know, a guy touches her and calls her beautiful. And she's like, thank you, but no, I know I'm not. You don't have to pity me. Jessie has never given me, Jesse's my boyfriend, Jessie has never given me any reason for me to think that he thinks I'm unattractive. But for some reason, those voices in my head, I have issues believing him. And again, it's all of those external sources that I grew up with that hammered into my brain. That fat is bad.
Like even now, and I'm like grown, you know, like obviously like I'm like, oh, thank you. But like inside, like my internal dialogue is like, oh, like
you're wrong.
No. You know, like it's so hard to undo that. It's so hard to like to just look at yourself, like not you, but like all of us, like me, like for me to look at myself and to think, I love you, like you are beautiful. And I like what you said about colonialism, because yes,
you know, fat is beautiful. You don't have to be skinny to be beautiful. You have to embrace who you are. Like, and it's just like, don't use like fat as like, because the way that she said it, it was just, you could tell there was some sort of negative connotation behind it.
Yeah. And I think that there's so much there for people that there's this, even if it's subconscious, there's this driving belief that you're not worthy.
Right.
How we tell little girls they're pretty. And it's like, we should be telling children, you're so lovable.
Yeah.
And we're instilling a sense of self-worth rather than a standard.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Talk to me about body positivity.
Body positivity is a beautiful thing. So body positivity is the ability to look in a mirror and not focus on the things that you think are bad. I every now and then I start to really fall into my self-conscious, like, and that happens to everybody. You start doubting yourself and who you are and what you look like. I write all those little things down on paper and then I burn it.
Good for you. I like that.
That always helps. Like, body positivity is so important to embracing fatness. I when I shower in the morning, I look at myself in a full-length mirror, completely naked, and I tell myself things that are beautiful about my body so that I can learn to celebrate myself. Body positivity is all about celebration. You know, like there are so many different types of flowers in this world and they're all beautiful, right? Like you would learn to appreciate every single different flower. It's like people, maybe you don't feel confident in your body and that's okay. Then you need to start dressing yourself in a way that you feel confident. You were talking about your hoodies because you're hiding your body. You might see a shirt that you like and you feel like you can't pull it off. Buy it anyway. You probably look incredible, but it's that body dysmorphia that's like getting in your brain and fogging your vision. Body positivity is the ability to look at yourself, celebrate yourself, wear the things that you want to wear. And for the love of God, don't buy clothes that are too small and tell yourself you're going to fit in them someday.
Well, I mean, that's a whole separate point I want to make. I feel like body positivity, like I love this. It feels like pride, but for people's bodies.
Exactly. That's like, exactly what it is.
We're trying to, you know, buy pants that are a size smaller and be like, oh, I'll fit into those soon. Like that just sets you up because you're always chasing something.
Exactly.
And you never have a sense of acceptance. And when you're always chasing something, nothing is going to be enough. You're always going to have this like hole.
Like clean out your closet of all of that garbage. Find clothes that make you feel happy. The moment that I help someone find clothes that they love, and they put them on, the look on their face and the way they act is completely different. And it's incredible.
You get into this like weird place where your brain, like your intellectual brain is like, fuck that. Like, no. But you know, the subconscious or like the part of your brain that's like running the show is like, no. What do we do? Where's the cream? Where's the, you know, how do we fix this? You know, and it's
what you have to remember is that your body is your body. You know, and that's all there is to it. You know, everyone says your body is a temple, and that's true. It's your temple. You should be giving your body the things that it needs to keep you healthy and strong. And you should accept your body for who it is, because it is working very hard to keep you alive. And it's doing a great job most of the time.
I guess, what do you wish people knew about fat phobia or body positivity? Like, what do you wish, like, people you just want them to know something? What would that be?
You know, it's not necessarily what I wish people would understand about other people. It's more that I wish people would understand themselves and accept themselves. Because self-acceptance is what leads to the acceptance of others. So if you love yourself and you accept yourself, you're going to start spreading that love and acceptance to others. So I just want to put a point that it doesn't just extend to women. It extends to everybody. We all struggle with the way we look. And acceptance is key.
Oof. Big oof. I truly hope passing the tiny mic makes you more curious about yourself and the world around you. Because remember, there is no voice too small to be heard. So keep your ears open, keep your heart open. And we'll see you next time on Tiny Mic Micro News.